The BBC has reported that a senior Ukrainian official disclosed that Michael Cohen was paid as much as $600,000 to create a back channel to Trump by the Ukrainian officials. So the Ukrainian president wanted to meet with Trump. He wanted more than just a photo op. And the best way to do that was to go through Trump's fix-it lawyer, Michael Cohen. Now, the Ukrainian president, Petro Poroshenko, arranged to pay Cohen at least $400,000 to set up the meeting, which took place at the White House in June. So this is June of last year. Now, another source corroborated what the senior official said, but said that Cohen was paid $600,000. Right now, there's no evidence that Trump knew about the payment. But we do know that Poroshenko did have a meeting with Trump, and it was something more than just a photo op, which is what he was looking for.
Yeah, so Michael Cohen is not a registered representative of Ukraine. So this is definitely illegal if they can prove it, right? And we'll see if they can. But my guess is they have all of his documents and his bank accounts, so it'll be relatively easy to prove. In fact, the banks are the ones that first flagged Michael Cohen. They're like, lots of shady business going on here. He set up this thing called Essential Consultants, said it was going to be just handle small checks. It handled very large checks. He said that it was a company about real estate and it didn't do anything with real estate. So, and by the way, if you don't know, if you do have transactions over $10,000 that look suspicious, the bank does flag it. So they had flags all over Michael Cohen's personal accounts and his business, the Essential Consultants. That's a thing that he used to pay off Stormy Daniels for Donald Trump. So now it has led to, among different revelations, this one. Now, if Trump didn't know about it, so then he's not guilty of that at all. So that's but now that's an if, we don't know yet. And so there's no evidence of it, so let's leave that aside, okay? The reason why this is so important is, again, if Michael Cohen is definitely going away, and for something like this is a layup, right? Okay, then he's got a choice to make. How many years in prison would I like to serve to try to cover for Donald Trump? Now, it's possible that Michael Cohen's got nothing on Donald Trump, that Donald Trump has been operating his business legally for all this time and never broken the laws. Yeah, well, I suppose that is possible, right? But if Michael Cohen has anything, not even this, but on anything else on Donald Trump, he could trade it for leniency on an issue like this.
Right. Now, there are two things left to discuss in this story. First of all, how did this whole back channel thing work? And then more importantly, what concessions were exchanged after this meeting, okay? So let's start with the back channel. So Poroshenko, again, the Ukrainian president, decided to establish this back channel to Mr. Trump. The task was given to a former aide who used a loyal Ukrainian MP for help. He, in turn, used personal contacts in the Jewish charity in New York State, Chabad of Port Washington. This eventually led to Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer and trusted fixer. So again, as Cenk mentioned, Cohen setting up these meetings and taking payment in order to set up those meetings is illegal because Cohen was not registered as a representative of Ukraine as required by US law. Okay, so what happened after this meeting that took place last June between the Ukrainian president and Trump? Shortly after the Ukrainian president returned home, his country's anti-corruption agency stopped its investigation into Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort.
Well, that is a lucky break for the Trump campaign team that includes Manafort. I mean, what an unreal coincidence, but I'm sure it's a coincidence. What else happened?
The senior intelligence official in Kiev said Cohen had been helped by Felix Sater, a convicted former mobster who was once Trump's business partner. So that's an interesting little tidbit in the story.
So look, it's a quick aside. That's why I laughed when I said that the idea that Trump doesn't have anything illegal in his business dealings these years is hilarious. He did deals with guys like Felix Sater all the time. Sater cut some guy's face open and got in trouble with the law massively on several different occasions. And by the way, got out of that trouble, this is his MO, by ratting out his partners. So these are the guys that Trump's in business with and Michael Cohen is. Tick, 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 tick.
So aside from the Manafort concession, possible favor, I should say. There were other things that came out after this meeting took place. Let's go to graphic 9. One source in Kiev said Poroshenko had given Trump a gift, making sure that Ukraine would find no more evidence to give the US inquiry into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. Okay.
Wonder what that gift is.
Yes. Also, a report by a member of a Western country's intelligence community says Poroshenko's team believe they have established a non-aggression pact with Trump. And just to give you a sense of some of the money involved in all this stuff, the report says that an element of the understanding between the Ukrainian president and Trump was that Ukraine agreed to import US coal and signed a $1 billion contract for American-made diesel trains. Let me just be clear that Ukraine had absolutely no need for those things. They have their own coal, they have their own resources, but it turns out that they spent $1 billion on importing US goods instead.
Well, look, let me be clear. That part I don't mind at all. So if our president, Republican or Democrat, went and struck a deal that benefited the American people, not himself, but the American people, and we got $1 billion deal that's coming over to the US, creating more jobs here, great, right? That's not my issue. And look, if the Ukrainians didn't need it, well, that's their problem, not my problem, okay?
Yeah, but
so they should take it up with their own president.
It's all about the reasoning behind why they struck that deal. That's the issue there, right?
So my point being is that, so if Trump's just making deals for coal, who cares, right? In fact, probably good, right? But if he's making deals for coal plus that little gift where you make my problems of collusion with Russia go away, that's a big deal.
Yes.
Because that isn't about the American people. That isn't serving us as president. That's serving himself at our expense.
Exactly.
And that's the heart of this problem.
And finally, there's something missing in this story for me, right? Because what does Ukraine get out of this? And the articles, the reporting just says the deals can only be understood as Poroshenko buying American support. But what does that mean? Well, buying American support in what? Protecting Ukraine from Russia? Is that likely to happen? I don't know. But apparently Poroshenko was also bragging about the fact that he was able to meet with Trump after the election before Putin could.
Yeah. So look, it is a little bit of a twist here because remember the current Ukrainian government replaced the old Ukrainian government, which was pro-Russian. So that's why them being able to make the Russian collusion go away or to make it less of a chance that it gets discovered doesn't quite compute. So now if they were to say, hey, Poroshenko says to Trump, you know, the Russians came in and took Crimea, and I know you're buddies with the Russians. Could you tell them to get off our ass and not take any more of our country, right? Or, by the way, seriously and more realistically, to loosen up trade between our countries, because I don't think Putin has not made any advances beyond Crimea yet in Ukraine, but there's a lot of economic and trade issues. Well, then that would be something that Ukraine gets back. Or, by the way, I mean, we're talking about back channels where $400,000 in apparently illegal payments are being made. Maybe Poroshenko and his allies would like something for themselves and not the Ukrainian people, right? And that might also have to do with oligarchs, et cetera. So now all of that is fascinating, requires more evidence. So let's keep digging, right? Now, if again, the Republicans will say, no, you seem to have found something massively illegal. This would be the time to stop digging. No, this would be the time to continue the investigation because we're not here telling you, oh, I knew what Poroshenko's motivations were. That's why we should investigate. What else? Who did he give anyone else what could be considered a bribe, right? And why would he give that bribe? And what did Trump give in return that wasn't necessarily his to give, right? And what did he receive? Those are very important matters. And if you cared about this country, you would certainly care to find out the answers to those questions, no matter what they are.
So the final portion of the story has to do with the response to this reporting. And apparently Poroshenko is not pleased with the story getting out. According to Kenneth Vogel, he tweeted that Poroshenko's office in statement blasts BBC News story on the $400,000 payment to Michael Cohen as slander aimed at discrediting Ukraine-US relations, as well as a personal attack against the president of Ukraine and the US. They're demanding a retraction and hinting at a lawsuit.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
So you're going to sue papers in the West for covering a meeting that seemed to have happened. By the way, be careful what you wish for. This is an old Trump move. And you know who you would have carry this threat out is Michael Cohen. He would have Michael Cohen and call up reporters, go, we're going to sue you. We're going to sue you if you actually report things that are true about Trump. Okay, you'll see, right? I can't wait for all that to come out. A lot of that is already public. So he's pulling a Trump going, oh yeah, BBC, we're going to sue you. Really, the president of a different country is going to sue the BBC. And by the way, if you did, we might actually find out what's going on. So that might be great. So be careful what you wish for. Then you drag all that evidence into court. And then we see what happens. And he's not really going to do it. This is all to appeal to Trump. Because in here he said, this is a fake campaign aimed at discrediting Ukraine-US relations. They use the word fake on purpose.
Yeah, fake is thrown around left and right now.
Yeah, I almost feel like that statement was like, Mr. Trump, we're not the ones who gave him the information. We're really against this information coming out. It wasn't us. It's all fake news. Please, Mr. Trump. So can't wait to see what they're hiding. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.